The world of Monster Hunter is a scary and dangerous place filled with various and grotesque creatures with such destructive powers that describing them as forces of nature simply does not do them justice. Sure, there are some quirky and adorable monsters that look harmless, but today we are focusing on the stuff that haunts your dreams and scars you for life. My name is DarkHero and these are the top 10 scariest Monster Hunter monsters. Part 2, that is. Tremble in fear, as the fifth monster on our list is none other than the ancestral dragon himself, White Fatalis. Fatalis is a legendary black dragon of ancient tales, one that is capable of wiping out entire countries with ease. It truly is a dangerous first-class monster. Occasionally, the Hunters Guild will secretly send groups of elite hunters in search of these monsters, but most never return. In legend, it is said that all living things fear Fatalis, including other elder dragons, which will try to avoid Fatalis at all costs, leading to monsters as powerful as Lao Shenlong leaving their habitats in fear. Fatalis is a powerful unnatural creature. Its scales are extremely thick and its shell is very durable. This is because Fatalis melts the armor of its victims onto his own body. Fatalis is quite simply a calamity, a bringer of ruin that is extremely hostile to all living creatures, especially humans, and will even use its victims to make itself stronger. Fatalis is a grim reminder of humanity's weak and fragile nature, being capable of splitting continents in two and scorching the whole world with its flames in a matter of days. The guild has chosen to make all information regarding the Black Dragon classified so as to prevent public panic. As such, Fatalis quests are only available to a select few, the elite hunters that have proven themselves worthy of facing this legend. Should a brave hunter be able to slay the Black Dragon, they will be revered by fellow hunters, as Fatalis is looked at as a hunter's ultimate goal. However, things aren't as bright for the victorious hunter. It is said that Fatalis' equipment is cursed. Terrible nightmares, unsettling strength, and a feeling of being possessed by some unknown entity will consume the bearer of Fatalis' armor, as voices and screams thirsty for blood will fill the hunter's head with nightmarish visions and break him, leading to hunters disappearing mysteriously without a trace if they don't die first from wearing the legendary dragon's armor for too long. But you see, there is a far more menacing and powerful force of nature known as the Ancestral Dragon. Capable of calling forth red lightning storms, he is the White Fatalis. Covered in white glowing scales, White Fatalis is said to be an older Fatalis that has mastered the power of lightning. The White Fatalis can breathe powerful red lightning bolts from its mouth and even summon giant bolts of lightning from the sky which will decimate their target. It can also imbue its claws with red lightning to attack its enemies. When the White Dragon becomes enraged, a strong red will start glowing on its throat and chest, resembling the color of the blood of all the victims it has claimed. This living cataclysm simply has no equal. Some would even go as far as to call White Fatalis a king or even a god. And here's the dark and scary thought. According to ancient documents, White Fatalis has the ability to call for other origin dragons, including the Black Fatalis and the Crimson Fatalis, unleashing chaos upon the realm, ravaging lands and wiping nations off the map. So, White Fatalis, a godlike being that is quite possibly the strongest monster, one that can bring about the end of the world, is said to be able to summon the other two forms of Fatalis. As if White Fatalis needed any help. Imagine fighting these three at the same time. Now that is a nightmare. What's more, it seems that the White Fatalis' equipment seems to be cursed as well, though in different ways than the Black Fatalis' equipment. When hunters wear White Fatalis' armor, it erases their shadow and makes them glow mysteriously. Some weapons will get rid of darkness and evil, while others will unlock the darkness inside a person's soul. However, the most disturbing thing is the rumor that the hunters who wear White Fatalis' equipment for too long will eventually transform into White Fatalis themselves, becoming the very creature they sought to slay, the one that could bring humanity to extinction. The hunter, now turned into White Fatalis, becomes the hunted. It's almost poetic, like a dark, twisted comedy. A cycle of endless bloodshed that can only result in ruin. Perhaps this is what the ancestral dragon wanted all along, for mankind to suffer, even after death. Such is the White Fatalis' hatred for us humans. In the number 4 spot we have quite a disturbing creature, YAMA. YAMA is a massive monster with an octopus-like body, covered in moss and boasting a set of 4 tentacles. Classified as an elder dragon as it doesn't fit into any category, YAMA is likely to creep you out. Also known as the floating mountain dragon, its description reads: an elder dragon that floats through the sky, a bite of earth, a drink of forest, it's a veritable god of the sky made of the richest soil. Ancient trees grow thick on its back like on a mountain. It is rumored to live near a forlorn, remote tower. Looking for fertile land for it to feed on, YAMA will constantly travel to different areas. The YAMA is believed to be herbivore, judging by the plants that grow on its back and its creepy human-like teeth. However, YAMA will occasionally consume other creatures, including large monsters, as it will swallow whole forests and lakes in one single gulp. Entire ecosystems become prey to the YAMA. In this process, YAMA will swallow great thunderbugs. These great thunderbugs adapt to YAMA mouth that is filled with a strange gas which sort of morphs the great thunderbugs that have found their new home inside this grotesque creature. From this, they even come to develop a symbiotic relationship where the great thunderbugs will defend YAMA against any potential threats, something that any hunter will have to fight off against if they plan on taking down YAMA. But don't think of the YAMA as a harmless monster just because great thunderbugs will protect it. In fact, extreme caution should be taken when hunting the YAMA as it counts with an explosive attack in which he releases the gas stored inside it, covering a wide radius. On top of that, this giant creature also has a breath attack that will one-shot any hunter regardless of how much defense they may have. They are no doubt a scary monster for anyone to face. After all, entire villages and towns could be swollen whole by YAMA in no time. Many YAMA, vastly different ones, have been sighted with unique colors, patterns and sizes. It is theorized that this may be a result of the different environmental conditions each of these monsters may face. And to top it all off, YAMA have incredibly long lifespans, being said to live for thousands of years, which makes its existence even more menacing. In the third spot we have the Elder Dragon that rules over the Rotten Vale, VAAL HAZAK. Also labeled the Corpse Coat Dragon, this grotesque creature is a true apex predator that some may see as a symbol of death. Residing within the caves of a decomposing Dalamador's body is the VAAL HAZAK. Covered in flesh, this monster seems to have adapted to the Rotten Vale, the place where monsters go to die. Amidst all of this decay and death, VAAL HAZAK looks to have made its home below large piles of bones and corpses. However, strangely enough, what kills these creatures is what feeds VAAL HAZAK, the effluvium, a miasma that affects those who reside within the Rotten Vale and will result in crippling anyone that comes into contact with this virus. In fact, VAAL HAZAK is able to control the effluvium, being capable of gathering the effluvium from the afflicted creatures around it, causing VAAL HAZAK to heal itself, killing the victims in the process, hence being nicknamed by many hunters as the Undead Dragon or as the Zombie Dragon. On top of that, VAAL HAZAK can release the miasma by spreading it around as a large noxious cloud or by spewing it through its breath attack, firing a deadly beam of concentrated effluvium. Should any hunter survive this powerful attack, they will need to take extra precautions against this Elder Dragon, as their life force will be drained, resulting in the hunters having their health bar cut in half. This is a terrifying monster for any hunter to face, including veterans, which is why VAAL HAZAK ranks number 3 on our list. Taking the number 2 spot on the list, we have none other than NAKARKOS, the Corpse Dragon. Being classified as an Elder Dragon due to, just like YAMA TSUKAMI, not fitting into any other category, NAKARKOS is an elusive creature whose existence has been reported for several years now. Though it is one of the most unique and fascinating monsters from the old world, very little is known about NAKARKOS, as those who witness it tend to end up as its prey. Its description reads: frighteningly little is known about this Elder Dragon, whose appetite can devastate surrounding ecosystems. After covering its prey in repulsive mucus, it has been seen dragging them back to feast in its macabre nest of bones, an unadulting darkness known as the Wyvern's End. Creepy names aside, the Wyvern's End is a place whose access has been strictly forbidden by the Hunters Guild, as it is an enormous graveyard for several monsters, a massive pit filled with bones of giant monsters, the place that serves as the lair of the NAKARKOS. Once you fall deep into the dark pit, you feel an overwhelming sense of mystery and fear of the unknown. You are in a sea of bones. The only things you can hear is the eerie music that is complemented by the sounds of bones moving, twisting and turning. And the only thing that is standing in front of you is this grotesque creature that is unlike anything you have ever seen before. You cannot help but shiver, even if only for a moment. You are facing death, and you know that hesitation, no matter how brief it may be, will cost you your life. The countless bones that fill this horrific pit remind you of that. And so, after taking a deep breath, you find the necessary courage to unsheath your weapon and go up against this macabre creature. At first, NAKARKOS will take on the appearance of a skeletal two-headed dragon. It will attack with its two heads by spewing blue mucus, which NAKARKOS uses to trap its prey. As you progress through the fight and weaken NAKARKOS, the Elder Dragon will reveal its true nature. Its real body, which is concealed under normal circumstances, is that of a blue squid-like creature. It uses the aforementioned mucus to cover itself in the bones of monsters that have fallen victim to NAKARKOS, hence why it is titled the Corpse Dragon. It is the NAKARKOS tentacles that give form to the two-headed skeletal dragon appearance for added protection. But in addition to that, given how intelligent NAKARKOS is, it will attach the skulls of the monsters it has consumed to its tentacles, and being able to harness the energy of these creatures, NAKARKOS can then summon lightning using the power of LBG. He can create massive explosions thanks to Brachydios, cause devastating earthquakes thanks to Uragan's skull, and also use Glavina's fiery tail as a sword to cut down its enemies. NAKARKOS truly is a scary monster, being more than capable of taking down top predators with ease, such as Glavenus, Brachydios, Nargacuga and LBG. The NAKARKOS is a voracious predator and a glutton at heart. He will capture and devour all kinds of monsters, and not even the most powerful of flying wyverns will be able to escape its terror. Due to NAKARKOS having such a huge appetite, it will even shoot down airships for food. Though NAKARKOS is powerful enough to destroy just about any ecosystem, it prefers not to, so he can leave its lair and still have plenty of food left for him. Due to the destructive nature of NAKARKOS, the Hunters Guild will immediately send hunters to repel it as soon as they find a NAKARKOS lair. Though most never come back, should a party of brave hunters be successful in repelling NAKARKOS, it is said that the corpse dragon will eventually return to devour the food that is there waiting for its return. A terrifying creature that feasts on other predators, makes its lair out of their corpses, and it will even use some of them to make himself stronger so he can go devour even more monsters. There is no doubt that NAKARKOS is a creature one should fear, which is why he takes the number 2 spot on our list. Now before we jump into the number 1 spot, let's go over a few honorable mentions. First up is Nerscylla. She was actually really close to making it onto the list. This spider is one lady you don't want to mess with. She may look cute swinging from place to place a la Spider-Man, but wait till you get closer and she shows you her jaws. Those things are huge and are guaranteed to leave a mark. On top of that, Nerscylla has the nasty habit of skinning Gypceros and even Kazu after they have fallen victim to her and wear their skin as a protective cloak. She's a real piece of work, isn't she? The second honorable mention is Savage Deviljho. If you thought a regular Deviljho was scary, this thing is on a whole other level. Savage Deviljhos are always enraged and it is an unstoppable killing machine. It will even cannibalize other Deviljhos. These brutal creatures are rightfully titled Terrifying Violence Wyvern and can only be rivaled by powerful Elder Dragons. They are a real menace that should never be taken lightly. And I would also mention Behemoth and the Ancient Leshen, but those two are collaboration monsters, so I did not want to include them here on the list. And finally, in the number 1 spot of the list we have GOGMAZIOS. This colossal grotesque creature that is covered in a tar-like substance is the elder dragon called GOGMAZIOS, also titled the Giant Halberd Dragon. The reason as to why it is covered in tar is because of GOGMAZIOS' highly unusual diet that consists of sulfur, which is found in gunpowder. Due to sulfur not being commonly found in the wild, GOGMAZIOS is known to raid armories and warehouses in order to feed itself, destroying entire villages in the process. As a consequence of its diet, incredibly sticky oil pours out of GOGMAZIOS' body and will attach to anything it touches, including all kinds of inanimate objects such as artifacts, weapons, arrows, a fucking Dragonator, and even living organisms. As such, when a hunter comes into contact with the star, they will become immobilized, similarly to when a hunter is webbed. However, the key difference is that if the hunter is unable to free themselves from the tar, it will explode and damage them. Some of the oil present in GOGMAZIOS' body has hardened and has now become an additional layer of armor, protecting GOGMAZIOS from any potential threats. Thanks to these internal organs, GOGMAZIOS can ignite the oil to make its attacks far deadlier, and will even fire devastating oil laser attacks that cause massive explosions. Despite its enormous size, GOGMAZIOS is surprisingly agile and fully capable of flight, though it isn't such an easy task for it, due to the oil on its body having stuck its wings to its arms after hardening, which is why it is so rare to see GOGMAZIOS flying. However, when GOGMAZIOS enters its enraged state, the temperature of the heat produced from its internal organs greatly increase, resulting in the oils around it evaporating due to this overwhelming heat, which then allows GOGMAZIOS to take flight by forcibly spreading out its wings. While in the air, GOGMAZIOS can drop large quantities of tar that will explode shortly after coming into contact, kind of like another monster that will drop explosive scales, a flying wyvern that shall not be named here, otherwise he may show up and ruin the recording session for me. You guys know who I'm talking about. Wait, what's that? And while GOGMAZIOS is enraged and airborne, he will be able to perform his oil beam attack, but instead of causing a single explosion on a determined spot, he will instead fire his beam haphazardly, destroying everything that is within range of the halberd dragon. Although it is unknown where GOGMAZIOS lives, it is theorized by the guild that his habitat might be in the swamps, where it will lay dormant for years, possibly even decades, which is why GOGMAZIOS sights are seldom reported. It will only awaken once it feels hungry and will consequently move towards a source of sulfur, likely raiding villages and destroying them in the process. GOGMAZIOS isn't a particularly aggressive elder dragon, but it will attack those who stand in its way. As such, desolation is inevitable as GOGMAZIOS feeds on gunpowder, so the giant halberd dragon will always be humanity's enemy, and one hell of a dangerous foe at that. And for that, GOGMAZIOS earns the #1 spot for the top 10 scariest, creepiest and most grotesque Monster Hunter monsters. And that concludes our list for the top 10 scariest monsters. Hopefully you have enjoyed it. Sorry it took so long to release part 2, a bunch of things happened. The first part got over 16 copyright claims by Capcom because of the cutscenes that I used in the video, and that made it a nightmare to edit the video, and I really didn't want to go through that thing again. On top of that, some of the files that I used in the part 1 were lost in transition from my old laptop to my new PC, so there is that to take into account. So yeah, I really do apologize for taking this long, but to make it up to you, I will be releasing another top 5 or a top 10 video next week, and that will be without a failure, I can promise you that. So do look forward to that, and hopefully you guys enjoy that video as well. But in the meantime, if you have enjoyed this video or found it helpful, then please leave it a like. It takes less than a second and it greatly helps me out. Subscribe if you're new to the channel and turn on channel notifications if you don't want to miss an ounce of Monster Hunter goodness. As always, a huge thank you goes out to my patrons for choosing to support me and helping me keep this channel alive. As you guys know, I am a university student and your financial support, no matter how small it may be, does help me out a lot, and I really do appreciate it. And again, a big thank you to all of my patrons, especially Guildarts Gaming, for being a mighty hero. If you would like to support me, the link to my Patreon is down below in the description, but with that being said, thank you all so much for watching. My name has been DarkHero, and happy hunting!